Go live, young man. Go live. Okay, it says we're live. All right, it says we're live. So, welcome to the Crossroads of America. Talk show about guns, politics, or anything else that crosses my mind. Answer questions from the audience either by putting in the chat box or emailing me at rickslife@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. I have a Patreon page, PayPal, and all that other good stuff listed down below. So we got that out of the way. As my thing says, it's open discussion today, but this is episode 200. So
congrats on 200.
And I missed a few weeks, so that it's not bad, really. So 200. So what's that? 4 years? Thereabouts? Give or take? Because 52 weeks in the year. So 2 years would be 104. So it'll be 208 for 4 years. So I'm just about a month shy or so of 4 years of doing this. So there we go. Anyway, what I was going to mention, I didn't watch the main thing, but I was listening when I was messing around on my computer this morning. I was listening to a little bit of Caliber Corner this morning, and I heard Travis say that Night Strike won the 1911, and I'm thinking, kind of convenient, since Travis is a co-host of Tuesday night 9:00, and Night Strike wins it. I'm only just saying.
Conspiracy theory.
Oh no, he might
a little weird.
But
yeah. Well, if I was giving away a 1911, even if Night Strike didn't enter the contest, he would win by default. I would just like to see him take another one apart and end up in the emergency room again.
Well, he's got Kevlar gloves to make sure that doesn't happen this time.
It won't matter. He'll find a way.
Yeah.
He was on that the other night. He's got a pair of cut-resistant gloves to put on. Went to the
that's
store
what he needs because he cuts himself all the time. And there's, anyway.
The circumstances behind that are a little misleading. He says the 1911 cut him, when he was putting it together. But what happened is he stuck the leaf spring in backwards. And then when he pushed the mainspring housing over it, the whole thing got all jammed and locked up and couldn't come apart. That's when he slid his hand down it and cut it.
So he's claiming gun violence, but really it was operator error.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he explained it to me.
Okay.
And I was like stunned, like, how in the hell did you put the leaf spring in backwards? He's like, well, I don't know, but that's what happened.
Anyway, so there we go. I've been doing some reloading, as I was saying before we went live. I've been pottering around last 7 or 8 days. I'm in no rush to get them done. I've only got 100 rifle primers anyway. So I'm up to, I've done about 70 so far. No, 80. Yeah, I got 20 primers left. So I might finish those off tomorrow or whatever and then go shoot them next week over my friend's house. So might as well. That's what they're there for. So, using that AR-15 that's behind me, sitting on that desk or table stand or table display from rnldisplays.com. Also comes with a wall mount as well. If anybody's interested, go to their website. They'll be able to hook you up with one. And they make them for other things as well now, I believe. One or two other models of firearms, but you can get yourself 15% discount by using Rick's Life in the discount code. So there you go. Don't say I don't do anything for you. I think of my subscribers, getting you a good bargain. Does that make me, do I sound like a shill?
Oh, you're a shill for sure.
Okay.
He's not a shill.
I don't make any money out of it, so I can't be a shill, can I?
Exactly. Just a kind-hearted individual that supports American product.
Oh, man, I think I just spit out some of my salad that I was eating.
Yeah, I had salad the other night. I've had it twice actually in the last 7 days. My neighbor brought me over a bunch of tomatoes. Was it yesterday or the day before? Yeah. So I got more tomatoes now. Got to buy, I got to finish off my iceberg lettuce we discussed the other day. My that nobody else calls lettuce. But an iceberg lettuce, though, a nice iceberg on a hamburger, I think is great.
Oh, boy.
Iceberg lettuce is the only kind I eat. I hate that leaf lettuce crap.
Oh. Weren't you here the other day when I was getting a hard time? They were giving me a hard time for eating iceberg lettuce?
Yeah, I just let them pick on you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, yeah. So, I know from all the, come from living in a city to out here in the country watching the YouTube channel. So I'm now, a internet gardening expert. The reason you ain't got no worms in your soil because your soil's lacking nutrients. There's Squib.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, and actually, honestly, I got that off a guy who I watch. He runs cattle on. He's got 1,200 acres of nothing but grass, and he says it's the worms that keep the grass growing. That's what made me say it. He says it's because he's got lots of nutrients in it.
I guess all that composting I do isn't worth a damn then.
Guess not. But, hey, I was just saying. That's what the guy said. I was just repeating what I was told.
Man, if you believe shit you hear on the internet, especially YouTube, especially shows like this, man.
I give out truthful information as I see it. Yeah.
Right before the show, I went out to the garden, and the tomato plant finally had a healthy-looking tomatoes, turning red, all that. I took a look at it up close, and the whole underside was eaten off of it. So some sort of insect got in there, and then I checked the other ones that were green on there. They've all got bites out of them, and it's not from a deer, and it isn't from a smaller animal because there's chicken wire around there. So some insect got it. So I got deer, I got rabbits, I got a woodchuck, and now I've got some sort of bug getting in there. So just the garden this year is just crap. It's a money pit every year, but this year it was just. I'm debating on whether or not to make another video on it this year or not.
Yeah, so
need a biodome.
Okay, so you are absolutely right, Jason. And okay, I've tried. This is one I cannot get. I cannot get past the wife. I can get a lot of things past her, but this is the one. No dome. I want a dome shaped, a geodesic dome, a greenhouse, and the ones I've found are like $900. It's like that ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. But as a permanent structure, or something like that, or I don't know. But yeah, between the cost and just the how gaudy it looks, there's like no way. So I don't know. Next year, I've got to come up with a plan. Do I just skip the garden all year? I've considered just setting myself a fixed budget and not going over budget. I'm really not too sure what I want to do, but I'll figure it out. But this year, the garden is an absolute failure.
It happens sometimes, you know.
If the garden was bigger and I could get rid of all the trees around it, I could get more light in there, and I had more area to, if something didn't grow well, something else would. It's a small garden. It might look big on camera, but it's not at all. But I've got trees around it, and I've been cutting them back and cutting them down every year, but they choke off the light. And then this year we've gotten a butt ton of rain. And I honestly think the rain has done in the garden to some extent. Some plants love it, and other plants, I think it just kills them.
Yeah. I think, I heard that. I've heard that too. All the rain that a lot of people had hasn't helped any. So, yeah. But anyway, I enjoy watching them. What you need to do to get rid of all the little creatures is all that wire you got going around that garden and electrify it.
No.
What's called? He's got his camera on. He's showing the worms in his yard. New York Outcast. He's digging up worms in his garden.
This is the first year that I've tilled the garden at the beginning of the season, and no worms. Between all of the topsoil and the garden soil that I've put in there over the years, and all the composting I do, and all the rotating out, and the fact that I put the leaves down over the garden for the winter, and then rake them out every spring, I've got a fair amount of good growing soil in the garden, in my opinion. I mean, the clay works its way up where I'm at. It just does. I think it's because of the high water table. But I've rotated out areas that I've not grown anything in, and I just buried compost. In the past, I've bought worms from the bait shop and put them in there. And this year, I didn't buy any dirt at the beginning of the season. I didn't put any worms in there, but I figured I wouldn't have to. And it was an unusual observation. I didn't pay much attention to it until I started to notice just some issues. And I went and bought a few bags of dirt and added them, but it was kind of too little too late. I moved some plants around, and in some cases it helped, and in other cases it made it worse. And it's just a bad year.
Maybe before next year, after you dig it all up and stuff, maybe send off a sample of your soil to one of them places to test it to see what it's got or what it's lacking.
So here's the thing. Outcast has talked to me about checking the pH level, and there are ways to do it, or you can buy kits. It's not really that bad. I really don't want to send it off to a lab. I don't want to get that far into it. I'd like to do the garden, even though I put fertilizer in it sometimes. How can I do the garden without any outside support? Save the seeds from the previous year, compost and till up the ground so that the soil is fairly rich, rotate the plants. That's one thing I did this year. That was a bad idea. I grew stuff in different areas to rotate it out, and I either had stuff didn't come up or it just died. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I should just keep certain things in certain areas, although farmers do that. But I was trying to find a way to figure out how to do this without any outside support. Even though in Grid Down, I'm not staying here. We can't survive the winter here in Grid Down, and that garden isn't big enough to produce enough food for us in Grid Down. I just wanted to see if I could do it without using certain things. And I think the reality is, as long as I've got a small garden in this state, I'm going to have to rely on, commercial products for that. If I live somewhere that was warmer, longer, or I could have a bigger garden, once again, I might be able to do things like that. But I don't want to get, I've already gone down the rabbit hole enough. I don't want to start testing dirt and all this other crap.
Yeah, you do. Being so far north, you do have a shorter growing season. And as you're right, people got started late this year too because of the rain.
What are you putting in your compost, Webb? Just out of curiosity.
All the leftovers from making salads. All the vegetable leftovers. Coffee grounds, so orange peels, banana peels, tomato butts, skins off of cucumbers, the butts on the carrots, the lettuce. On occasion, I'll put eggshells in there. I've put expired stuff in there. I've put expired salad dressing or expire, or like if we got a whole bunch of leftover pasta or rice or something, I'll dump that in there. I don't care. It's all biodegradable. But I've done that for years and I haven't had an issue. Sometimes the tomatoes or whatnot will have little seeds in there, and I'll get tomato plants where I compost. But yeah, I can't explain what happened.
Are you putting like grass clippings, leaves, things like that are mulch mixed in as well?
So no grass clippings. I tried that in the past where I would bury grass clippings underneath, but I just said, yeah, this is not really helping out. Leaves, sometimes I'll mulch those into the dirt, or I'll bury the leaves, or in some cases I'll burn the leaves and then dump the ash in the garden. But I've composted before, and it hasn't done anything bad to the garden, and I don't think I killed anything with it. It's just this year was just crap.
Well, like the liquid dressings, I mean, some of that with the vinegars, different things. Is this like GMO-free stuff, or are you dumping a bunch of chemicals in on it?
I mean, does it really matter? Because it hasn't hurt it in the past.
Yeah.
It hasn't hurt it.
I think, yeah, but everything depreciates over time and gets more affected in a sense.
Okay,
so,
well, the same.
And if things are growing, you might not be rotating it enough as well. I'm just throwing ideas. I asked the lady for any advice, and she was like, "Well, tell him he's doing it wrong." And I'm like, "Oh, whoa." So
it's just it's 1 year out of how many I've had a garden.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. See, here's the thing. Yeah. If I put ranch dressing in my body and it doesn't kill me, then I can put the expired ranch dressing in the ground and it'll be fine. It's biodegradable. I ain't worried about the
some worms are pickier than others, man.
Hey, maybe the worms don't like ranch.
Well, then they're un-American. They probably don't like cheese either. This year I didn't add any worms to the garden. I didn't add any dirt to the garden at the beginning. And this year I rotated plants. This year we got a lot of rain. Those are the things that are different. I don't know that if I added garden soil at the beginning of the year, added some worms at the beginning of the year, and didn't rotate, if that would change things. I don't know.
Personally, I think the all the rain we've had made a big difference this year.
Part of me wants to say, screw it. Just let the raspberries grow next year and anything else that comes up next year and just let it go. Just take a year off from the damn thing, put my money and time into something else, and then get back to it. Another part of me says, I want to do it, but I want to do it on a limited scale. And another part of me says, just do what you've always done. And every year there's something that doesn't go right with the garden, and then something that takes me by surprise. Something I don't expect to grow grows great, and something I put a lot into just peters out and dies. And I can't, or, one year I got critters in there. The next year I seem to keep them away. I don't know what it is. This year has just been the worst. That's all. And it's not like I'm quitting, I'm giving up. I'm quitting. It's just like, I just don't care. It's a hobby. I don't care about it that much. I don't, I've learned something about having hobbies. If your hobby becomes an obsession, then, that's, I don't know. For me, I should say, if my hobby becomes an obsession, I need to take a look at that and say, is this healthy for me? Am I going to get stressed out over it? Am I going to take resources away from other things for it? Or am I going to enjoy it? It's just like the whole YouTube thing. At a certain point, sometimes I take a break from this because it's not fun anymore. So when gardening isn't fun, maybe it's time for a break, but not necessarily give up. But if I decide I don't ever want to, who cares? This isn't like some life-changing thing. It's a stupid-ass garden.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But as I was saying the other day, if I don't get my little homestead that I want, looking for, I'm actually going to plant some stuff out here. I got flower beds in the front and the back, and I'm just going to dig them all up, rotate them, put some compost down there, and I'm going to grow vegetables. What I like, I'm going to grow corn in the back, maybe with some green beans. Then I'm going to grow cucumbers and watermelons in the front.
I just want to state for the record, I'm offended.
But
Okay. If it wasn't for a little shitty ass garden, Squib wouldn't even be here. That's bullshit, man.
I thought he was offended over the watermelon remark, but okay.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm planning on. I said it. So that's what I plan on only growing 3 or 4, maybe 5 vegetables at the most of
But here's
what
the
I'm
thing,
actually
Rick.
going to eat.
Rick, you're getting outdoors. You're working with your hands. You've got goals. You've got a project. You don't have to go far from home, right? It's out the front or out the back. Gardening, I think, is a good thing for you and for a lot of people. It's maybe about as healthy as eating a salad by growing the salad, right?
Absolutely.
I like the fact that my garden gives me something that I can do right here in the backyard. I can get outside. I can work with my hands. I can see the progress and something like that. And maybe that's why it disappoints me when it doesn't do well. But gardening isn't for everybody. Some people, though, will your arthritis get to you and you go, screw this, I ain't doing it anymore? I mean, you're not going to know till you try, right?
Well, that's it. I mean, since I've, got 2 new hips now, the only thing that's going to really bug me is my back. But if I figure I can bend over, but I just have to do it real slow, not stay bent over too long. But I figured out, if I've only plant 1 row one day, I'll go out and plant the next row the next day, Now,
Outcast, you didn't do your garden this year, right? You were busy with work.
Yeah, ours is pretty sad. I mean, there's some, technically it's still a garden. We've got corn growing, carrots, some lettuce, but at least half of it is not, it's weeds at this point. So it was pretty neglected, unfortunately, this year.
Because you were busy
granted,
with work.
Yes, and we were planning on moving as well, so I didn't really think we'd still be here at this point this year.
Oh, the gun snob says, I just go to the local farmer's market. It's cheaper than growing a garden by far when I count my time.
And you know what? He's absolutely right with that. In the summer, you've got the best produce at Myers, at the grocery store, and it's all on sale, or the farmer's market's got it and it's fresh. We've got one right down the street from us. We've got one that's one township over by all the shopping. And then there's 2 of them that we like to go to when we're up north in northern Michigan that, we're not going out of our way to go to them is what I'm trying to say. But he's absolutely right. In the winter, you're getting the produce is a little bit more expensive at the store. It's not as fresh or it's not, but yeah, it is. It's literally cheaper to buy groceries than it is to grow unless you've got a really big garden and you've got an affordable source of water and you do something like canning or dehydrating, right? You're storing it. Then you could eventually make it pay for itself.
Yeah. You're right. Oh, I figured that, I mean, I'm not growing enough here in my thing I won't be canning any, I don't think. I'm just going to grow enough to get me, I'll throw in, if I got to, I don't know how many, I don't know. Will I have anything to can or dehydrate? I don't have a dehydrator anyway, so they ain't cheap. I was looking them up the other day, but
they serve 2 purposes. They serve 2 purposes, Rick. Those food dehydrators.
Yeah.
You can switch over to like wet tumbling your brass, and then you can dry them off in that dehydrator.
Good. That is a good point.
All of those dehydrators all those case dryers that the different gun company sell, they're a food dehydrator. I mean, you can go look at them and compare them. They'll be like the same product with like a different color knob on it or something.
Well, actually, you got a good point there, because my little basket that I have on a stick that I roll up and down to pick up my brass, when I was, if I'm outside, I paid $30 for it. and that was in the gardening section because it was a acorn or some small nut pickup. I can't remember what they called it for picking up nuts. The identical one in the shooting sports section was $50, and it was identical, even the same color. So I bought the $30 one. Yeah.
If it said tactical, it would have been $70.
True.
Too bad Lee don't make one for like 20.
Yeah, so I see that, mind you, though, Tommy Gunn in here says he's been prepping for a year before this pandemic things are going to get tough come October and November. I don't know.
Why? What's so special about October and November?
I don't know. I'm just reading what he wrote there.
Delta will be in full swing.
So they're trying to. They're trying to shut the country down again by the looks of it.
I had a guy at the auto shop when I had to get my car inspected. Basically just start a conversation talking about how bad things are going to be here shortly. So, because I mentioned selling that car, looking for something else. Oh no, I wouldn't do that. And just started going on kind of a rant. I don't know where he's getting his information. I didn't have a bunch of time with the guy, but because I was kind of curious, but he seemed dead set that things were going to shit really quick. So I don't know if there's something I'm missing or,
what?
I don't know.
Well, unless they do something, unless they start trying to shut things down like they did last year, only essential stuff can stay open and that kind of stuff. It's the only way I can see it really going to hell. But if any of these governors of states got any backbone, they would say go to hell. But I don't think they do. Like our governor's starting to waver. I think he's a rhino anyway.
Okay, so here's the thing: there's lots of people that have always been in the know, but they're not. They're talking out their ass. They heard something from somebody. They heard something from somebody. They heard something, or they're the ones that start the stuff. I'm really not going to take advice on my choices for my finances or whatever from my auto mechanic. But the thing is, whether they're on social media or there's somebody you're talking to in line at the grocery store, there's always that person that seems to be in the know, and they're about the most clueless person. But they can talk a good talk. Here's the thing: if they decide to do what they did before, we got through it. We'll get through it again. But midterms are coming next year. You are crazy if you're a politician and you support shutting down your state, putting people back on unemployment, closing down businesses, closing down. People are going to places with their families, and these places are packed. They are booked. They're charging more for hotel rooms. They're charging more for everything, not only because they're trying to recoup their losses, but because there's such a demand. There's demand for all kinds of products. There are demands for all kinds of services. People aren't going, well, screw it, I'm not going to re-roof my house. They're re-roofing their house this year, okay? People are buying stuff. And, all this stuff about, oh, you can't find this, you can't find that. I think that's different in different places. I also think some people aren't taking the time to look because things are out there. You've just got to, it's going to cost more money or take more time, or you got to wait longer or drive further or do whatever, but it's out there.
There ain't no primers out there.
There are primers, Rick. I have not had issues getting primers. You live in bumfuck nowhere and you're not willing to drive more than 12 miles. That's why you can't get primers. Okay? They're out there. I'm not saying they're plentiful and I'm not saying they're at the regular price, but they are out there. It's just like landscaping lumber. The 4 stores around here that I would normally go to for landscaping lumber still don't have it, but yet MK Outdoor Journals was able to get it in Ohio. And it was a little bit more expensive than normal, but he was able to get it. I'm sure if I went to more than one of the 4 stores I normally would buy that at, I could find it, or I could order it, and if I'm willing to pay for it, or whatever it is. I'm just saying, stuff is available. Stuff is out there. People are talking about the prices of everything going up. They're also increasing wages because the labor shortage isn't over yet. That's one thing that's definitely driving up wages. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. It's almost like we're chasing our tail. But if a politician does more than just run their mouth on TV, because a lot of these guys will say stuff, but they're not actually passing a law or creating an order. And an order is not necessarily something you have to obey either. It's not a law. Okay, they're saying we advise you to follow CDC guidelines. They're not saying you better do it or else. Now, some of these governors are, some of these mayors are, some of these county execs are, but those are in the places where they do things to reduce or restrict your freedom anyhow. These are the same old places that do the same old crap, and the people there have taken it for so long, they just take it. I'm not saying it's not going to happen at all, but I'm also not saying it's definitely going to happen. They got to think, if they shut down their state next year and they're up for re-election, if they shut down the state this year, right before Christmas, if they shut it down, right after the beginning of the year for 3 months, people are going to remember that stuff when they go to the polls in the fall. So it's not a good idea. It's just not. And they're losing money too. They're losing money when the country isn't making money. They're losing tax revenue. They have investments in companies. Do you think these politicians want to see their stocks tank? No.
Yeah, good point. But as I said, but in the states that are always leaning that way, they'll do it anyway.
But the problem with that is that other states that don't necessarily do that sort of thing are influenced by that.
Yes.
If you've got a state that does this or does that or has a little bit of this or a little bit of that, and that's it, they're not the problem. The problem are the states that have always done this and will never stop. They will only get worse. And it's a few states. It's not a lot of states. It's a few states. But those few states have some influence. But on the other hand, okay, think of it like this. You've got a choice between going to California, which says, whatever. You got to wear a mask. You got to have a shot. You got to this. You got to, or Florida that says, fuck it, we're open for business. Do what you want. I'm taking my money to Florida. Well, who do you think's going to look at their numbers at the end of the year and go, wow, look at our tourism revenue? Because I can't be the only one out there who says I'm voting with my wallet.
No, I agree with you on that one. I would do the same thing. But what the government will do is print more money to get to California to bail them out. Unfortunately.
I have a serious question here.
Yes.
Is any of you coming to the Rod of Iron Festival in October, Greeley, PA?
No.
Thank
What
you,
is
Rick.
What you call it? Jason might. He's close to there, ain't you?
What kind of festival is it?
Squib might be able to explain.
So it's at I'm going to call it the warehouse for car arms, which is like Carr, Desert Eagle, Thompson, the Tommy gun warehouse, I think they call it. And the back lot, they set up tents and booths for vendors where people are selling stuff. They have some seminars there, and they've got food, and they've got a stage with entertainment, as well as people making Pro 2A speeches. They've got an area further away down the road where they'll provide guns for you to shoot. They've got an outdoor range, but you've got to wait your turn in line, and they shuttle you down there and shuttle you back. And more or less, you get to hang out with pro Second Amendment people. You get to open carry, no mask, no card, no nothing. You just have to register. Registration doesn't cost anything. If you don't register online ahead of time, you can register right there. That's all you got to do. There's nothing going on. The store indoors is inside is selling stuff. They may be only allowing so many people in the store at a time. Then again, they might just have the doors open. Depends on what the rules are this year, but otherwise, it's actually pretty good for being out in the middle of nowhere. It's actually a pretty good event to go to. It's what, 2 days, right, Outcast?
Yep, Saturday and Sunday. I believe Friday is, I forgot what it is there, but it's not really a public thing that goes on Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday is, for everybody. Not exactly. It might be vendor setup or something like that. There's something on Friday.
So that's
when is it?
9th and 10th of October.
I don't think I'll be going, but
Come on, Rick. Let's do something different. Get out the house, buddy. Jason, come down.
I get out the house. I get out the house every day.
No, I mean out, like about. Let's go get in some trouble.
No.
You wouldn't believe the patrons at the local bar. You gotta come.
Swing by and pick me up. I'll pay for the gas.
There you go.
Got to buy your own drinks, though.
Oh, roll call in the chat says on my statement, the government don't print money. The Federal Reserve is privately owned. The government asked them to print money and pay it back with generation of debt. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Yeah. So, I suppose, yeah, you are right by saying that, but the government's asking them to print money, so the government's printing money, the way I look at it. Is the actual Federal Reserve ever going to say no? We're not going to print money? Have they ever said no? I don't know. It's not something I actually thought about or looked into, but it's
Speaking of the federal government, when I hopped on, were you talking about going and shooting your 45?
Yeah, why? Yeah, shooting my 1911.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking about taking it giving it. I haven't shot it for 3 years, and I thought if I shot it now while it was still warm, maybe it won't hurt my hands so bad. Because my hands aren't hurting right now because of the heat.
You got stuff to reload 45?
Of course I do. But I won't have to reload any 40. I got so many reloaded 45 here, it's ridiculous.
I'm saying you should make up a load, like a 185 grain or something with some lightweight powder and stuff in it. Make a little lightweight load that's not so hard on your hands.
I know. I know that's what I should do. But in my few short years of being a gun owner, 45 ACP, 230 grain hardball. That's what it's got to be, just the way it is. But I do, when I shoot my 45 Colt, which takes the same bullet, basically, it's, I make lighter loads on that, but,
the 45 Colt, the 45 ACP use different bullets.
Supposed to.
Nah, you can use the same. You can use the same because I've done it, and it fires through both guns.
Well, there's a thousandth different, but the 45 Colt should have a crimp groove in them.
And the 45 Colt is a higher grain weight as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 250.
Lucky to be alive, Rick.
I know. I used a 230 grain for my 45 Colt. You
you put the smaller, lighter bullet in the case. You didn't do it the other way around.
do what?
Yeah,
You
we
put
were
a
thinking,
230 grain bullet in a 45 Colt, not a 45 automatic.
Yes.
Okay. So you put the smaller diameter, lighter weight bullet in the larger of the two cartridges. That's how you got it to work. Try doing it the other way around. I don't know that you'll like the results.
Oh, you mean like put a 250 in a 45 ACP?
Yeah.
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 I don't know if I'd do that. But I was making lighter loads for the 45 Colt. I mean, it worked. You know, I haven't had one not fire yet.
I just got a new pistol last night, Rick.
Another Beretta?
1911.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it came with a different recoil spring, so you could run some like lighter power target loads through it.
Oh, it's come with the new spring that is night strike proof. Huh?
Yeah. No, I got a sweet pistol, man. I love this one. Got a Colt Gold Cup national match. Oh, it's just perfect and beautiful. I didn't know what all was like done to it, the difference in national match. I thought it was just the trigger and the adjustable sights and stuff. Man, it's got all kinds of good stuff on it. They like flush cut the barrel. It's got a beveled magazine well in it. It's rounded on the top with serrations. This one is fitted nice. There's the grip safety is nice and tight, no rattles. The slide doesn't have any rattle or shake to it at all.
What brand is this?
A Colt.
Okay.
But it's beautiful too. It is blue. It is not modern day black. This gun has been blued. You take it outside and it's just absolutely beautiful.
Where'd you find that at?
My gun store had it.
Hmm.
But
you had it on layaway for a while?
Yeah, I've had it on layaway for a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
But Colt still makes them. This is a brand new one. But it's a nice one, man. I just love it to death. I still haven't got it completely cleaned up yet, but I'm going to clean it up before I shoot it. I will say, whatever oil that they smeared all over this gun before they sent it to me, it would last like 1,000 years in a time capsule. This thing was soaked and smeared wet. You couldn't even touch it with a rag. Half the rag stuck to the gun and the oil that was on the damn thing. It looked like it was scratched all up. It was just, just keep wiping it and wiping it and wiping it. I haven't used anything like Action Cleaner or anything on it to cut the oil off yet. I'm just still wiping, but man, is it thick. So I'm gonna take the whole thing apart, make sure it's cleaned inside, oil it myself. Do a little.
It's definitely oil. It's definitely oil, and not that stuff they used to put on those old-fashioned guns.
Yeah. No.
Was it Cosmoline or something they call it?
No, it's not Cosmoline. It's just extra thick in oil. The whole plastic bag had like extra oil in it, and with that shiny blue finish, I mean, it just smears the oil all over the place. But it's a great gun. I love it so far, man. It is fitted nice. The features on it's real nice. No plastic on it. It's a beauty. But like I said, it came with a spring for like 185 grain light loads, so you can swap it out. It's a target pistol. It's set up black sights for target pistol. So
it's 45 ACP, right? Not one of them baby 9 mils. I hope.
Yeah, no. Blasphemy, Rick.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, a 1911's got to be a 45 ACP. I'm afraid that's just what it is. Because 9 mil was actually around before 45 ACP, I believe. Right? Because 9 mil was an old cartridge. And if a 1911 was meant to be made in 9 mil, the man would have made one in 9 mil. But he made it in 45 ACP.
He designed the high power. There's your 9mm pistol.
Yes.
I kind of on it, and I gripe at people about it or whatever. I can say there's probably someday I'll have a 9mm 1911. It'll just happen, you know. But for me, I just don't understand it. If you want a 9mm, uh, there's so much more modern, uh, more useful choices out there, especially with carry capacity, sights, stuff. There's just like better choices for 9mm than a
Oh yeah,
1911.
yeah.
The 1911's got its own place. It's place in history, its time, its effectiveness. Why would you screw with that with 9mm? I don't know.
You're right. You're right. Mind you, though, I still like my my 380 that I got. I know it's not 45 or 9mm, but that is a nice shooting gun. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but
You know?
that falls into the category though. Now it's a smaller gun. Now it's a pocket gun. Now it's an ankle gun. You know what I mean? Now you can like use it to carry its backup gun or something. That has its purpose for being a smaller caliber. But to take a government 1911 and change
Oh
it
yeah,
to 9
absolutely.
millimeter, I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't get it either. But
Unless you were like running plus P or something, you know what I mean?
I mean, as you said, like 9mm. I've got my Beretta 92 for my 9mm. You know what I'm? That's what that was designed for too, wasn't it?
Yes.
So there you go. And my my performance setter 380 was made for 380. I'm telling you, that is a sweet gun.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some things you gotta leave alone. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should. I mean,
Absolutely.
you can take a shotgun, put a 22 long rifle barrel inside of it. Don't know why, but you can.
Oh, G23 wants to know if I've done the drawing yet. No, I haven't. We'll be doing it shortly. And I was talking with New York Outcast about this before we went live. And I might as well do it now because my question was about the Winchester 1886 #1. Who bought it? Who to give it to? And what did it sell for? Right? And the answer that I have, right? It was hang on. The rifle itself was the guy, what was his name? Was it Albee? Is that how you pronounce his last name? He was a Medal of Honor recipient during the Civil War, I believe, and he gave it to another one of his fellow soldiers, a Captain Henry Ware Lawton, is who got it. That's the two names I wanted, and it was sold. Hang on, where have I got it at? It was sold in. I've lost it. Where'd it go? Oh yeah, it was sold a few years ago for a price of $1.265 million. That's the info I was looking for. So I didn't think it was a hard question. But, what's happening to, and this drawing was for a $25 gift card to Bass Pro Shop. And sometimes I'm getting I'm debating whether I'm thinking of stopping the contest, from now on, because I had one entry. One. So that one entry wins by default. And that winner is G23, who asked me whether I've done the drawing yet or not. He's the only one that entered. and he got it right. So, which is kind of disappointing. I mean, not that he didn't, not that he won. It was disappointing that nobody else entered it. You know, so I will get that in the mail to you. You're the winner of that $25 gift card. So now for the next I have set my package up here for the next drawing, which has got I think it's got three patches and some stickers. That's all that one's got in it. And that's for the 28th of August. And I think this is a real easy question. You know, I'm trying to make them as easy as possible. And this has got to do with the Die Hard movies. And I've asked this question before, but there's a different twist to it this time. In the movie, Die Hard with a Vengeance, I want to know what firearm he used, his main firearm in the movie. And I want to know what was strange about that. Okay.
As he, you mean Bruce Willis?
Yes.
The main
As
character.
McCain.
Okay.
As
Just
McCain.
clarifying.
I want to know what was his main firearm that he carried in his shoulder holster, and what was strange about it. Now, to me, the answer's in the question. Because if you think about the movie. So, email me at rickslifeasiseeit@gmail.com or spottedrick@gmail.com. You know? So, now, when I said the answer is in the question, the answer I'm looking for is based on real fact. So, there you go. If you guys are interested, I'll tell you when I go. If you guys are interested to know what the answer is, I can tell you when I go offline. You know? So, all right. So that's the question. Oh, G23 said, just for fairness, I won't enter this one, so someone else can win. Yeah, well, I hope somebody else enters. You know. So I just do them for fun. But if nobody's interested in it, me doing it, then I won't do it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I enjoy doing it, and I do it for fun. But if nobody's interested, there's no point in carrying on with it, basically. Anyway, let's go back to our chat. Yeah, I meant to be going squirrel hunting, but it's too damn hot. Plus, squirrel season starts this Sunday. And my cousin, who came over the other day, he said, I thought you'd be over this week. Practice with your 22. And I said, yeah. I said, I'll be over next week. I said, you're taking your grandkids this week because they're back in school already. And so the starting day is Sunday. So I said, go ahead and take your grandkids. I said, me and you go during the week anytime we want. You know? Plus I've noticed, and he confirmed it for me, there's very few around here. There's very few, the nuts they eat and stuff. They're eating pine cones, which means there's no other nuts around right now. You know, so that makes it harder to get them. So I'm in no rush. So let it go a week or two for it starts cooling down. And we'll be good to go.
Been 90 there all week, Rick?
Yeah. We had, mind you, I thought we were having a tornado what was it, Thursday night. I mean, I'm sitting here. It's about, I don't know, 7 o'clock, 7:30. All of a sudden it came over black. I mean, literally. I mean, it was dark outside, and all of a sudden I could hear the wind howling, because when the wind's really strong, my back door screen, the way it doesn't sit flush, so it whistles. I mean, and it was whistling like a son of a bitch. And the rain came down, and I thought, Jesus Christ. 5 minutes later, it was gone and the sun was back out. It was strange. But when I got up Friday, I hadn't gone to bed, but when I went out the house Friday morning, I had to go over into my next door neighbor's backyard to get my trash can back. So
We had a couple big storms this week.
But what was it? Monday it rained, and we had an inch and a half on Monday's rain. It rained all morning, ended around lunchtime. So we've had some rain down here. People need rain. The farmers tell me they needed the rain. So there we go. So you've had some storms up there or down there?
Yeah.
You'll be down there. No, you're not down there. You're over
straight across the line from you.
Yeah, you're over. You're over there.
Whatever you get, the wind just blows it over here in a couple hours. But
yeah,
we've had some heavy rain. I mean, can't see to drive, even on wipers on high. I mean, we've had some downpours, last a half hour or so and leave. But we've had some storms, some high winds. It's not been pleasant little rain showers, not at all. It's been kind of nasty.
You been working indoors?
Yeah, but it's caught me driving a couple times, and even when I was sitting here at the house, big lightning bolts, thunder, power flicking on and off. We've had some really the wind gusts is what I guess has probably been the worst of it.
Oh, G23. By the way, I received the envelopes yesterday. What was yesterday? Friday? Damn, I mailed those on Monday, I think. Or was it Tuesday? Anyway, all right. I'm glad you got them. So, yeah, but I think G23 is up in Oregon, I believe, too. So, it would take a couple of days to get there. It rains every day in Florida. Echo says that's just normal Florida rain. Yeah, it rains somewhere in Florida every day. So, gun-loving grandpa just said he will add a 6-inch steel target to the pot for next week's winner. So there you go. Besides the patches and the sticker, you got a 6-inch steel target. So, if anybody's in, there you go. All you got to do is answer my question. And the Die Hard,
With a
what the hell? I lost my question here. In the Die Hard with a Vengeance, I want to know what Officer McCain sidearm is, the one that his main one they carried in the shoulder holster, and what was strange about it. And the answer is in the question. So, there you go. All right. What else do we want to talk about? So, I mean, I didn't want to bring up too much politics, because all it does is get me wound up. The state's falling, the country's falling apart, and he's gone on vacation for 2 weeks. The senile old bastard. But then he's begging OPEC to start producing more oil because we're going to need it. Fucking idiot.
But he said he was going on vacation
Oh yeah,
for 2 weeks.
yeah. Why the country falls apart, you know. Then
Well, he don't even work past 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning.
then we got Vietnam Point, Saigon Point 2 going on over in Afghanistan right now. The helicopter is going to be landing on top of the embassy soon to pull everybody out. You know,
Yeah, they should have already been out there, though.
he should be dropping bombs on their ass right now. Is what he should be doing.
Yeah, but they
The
did.
Taliban, back off. We told you, you know, that we were moving, but for you to stay put. You know, that's what he should be doing.
Damn shame, all that money, energy, blood, life was lost.
$2 trillion we spent on that war, at least.
Damn shame.
Yeah, yeah. And I know Trump said he was pulling everybody out, but he had a plan. And part of his plan was he wasn't leaving all the fucking equipment there like this idiot did for the Taliban to take it and use it.
Yeah, I saw him driving our tanks.
Yeah. Trump was pulling all that out. And honestly, I believe the last administration would be bombing their ass right now for what they're doing, for what the Taliban's doing. Because unfortunately, bringing them to the peace table doesn't work. You bomb the shit out of them, then they'll come to the table. You know, right now they don't need to. Fuck you, is what they're saying. And, you know, and they're killing anybody who even talked to an American right now, chopping their heads off. You know? I told you I didn't want to talk politics.
Some cultures. Yeah, the ideology, peace doesn't fit into some things. So,
no. And he told them, you know, and he told the Taliban, please be nice. What a fucking idiot.
Well, I never heard of a president taking like a 2 weeks vacation, man.
Yeah,
he's
gone to Camp David to rest for a week or two, I think is what they said. It could be a bunch of bullshit too, what I'm hearing. But he did go to Camp David. I know that much.
Yeah, I know they all take off on their golf and this and that, but I just never heard him say it like straight 2 weeks, won't be back. See ya, y'all have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I never heard of it working like that.
Oh, and even his goddamn secretary of or whatever he is, the head of the Homeland Security or whatever, even said the border is a total shambles. You know, in his open mic or whatever he said when they, heard him say, you realize in the last 2 months, 250,000 illegal aliens have been processed. Now that's the ones they caught and released. How many more have come over that haven't been caught?
Shit, a lot of them. They've been found to come down with the COVID or whatever it is now, new variant and this and that or whatever they're calling it. At the same time, they want to lock everything down, close stuff up. They're going to force us to pay to bus people distributed around the country to bitch and complain about lockdown numbers and all this bullshit.
Oh, by the way.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah, I know. By the way, as of this, I think it was this morning, the sophisticated people who didn't have to wear a mask and social distance in Martha's Vineyard this past week. The Martha's Vineyard has said their COVID numbers are spiking now. I'm just saying, had nothing to do with the big 500 people party on their small island up there, spreading their germs everywhere. But don't get me started on the COVID either. I don't care. You're not meant to say the word. It's real. I know it's real. But it's like it's a virus. The government, our United States government, has never, ever beat a virus that has been in the world ever. So what makes you think you're going to fucking beat this one?
One of the big issues is word association. Cases equal deaths. No, they don't.
No, I agree with you.
If you test positive, there's no guarantee that that is an actual positive or a false positive. If you test positive and you really are positive, there's no guarantee you're going to show symptoms. If you test positive and it really is positive and you show symptoms, it may be for half a day. For some people, it could be 3 weeks or some weird crap like that, right?
Yeah.
If you test positive, it's not a false positive. You actually show symptoms and you come down sick. A handful of people have complications, usually due to their poor fucking health to begin with, that put them in the hospital. So if you test positive, it's not a false positive. You show symptoms. The symptoms, your underlying health conditions cause those symptoms to be an issue for you, and you end up in the hospital. A small fraction of those people end up dying as a result of the complications. That's not what that takes too long to say, and that's not what they want people to understand. When somebody hears cases, they equate that to deaths, and it's not true. And you're not going to get your average American to stop for a minute and look left and look right and go, if they're right, how come everybody up and down my street isn't dead? How come I'm not dead? They just want to be told what to think, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do for these people. On the flip side, you have the person who says the government's out to get us all. Nothing's real. The earth is flat. There is no heaven, whatever. And they've got every conspiracy in the world, and they can't actually back it up with science or history or anything else. They think they can, but they're getting their information all screwed up. They're trying to apply, this to that when this and that are two separate things, but they're going, look, and they sound smart, and then people believe them. And so somewhere in the middle, there's the truth. There's not one side trying to push an agenda and they're lying or misinformed, and another side trying to push an agenda and they're lying or they're misinformed. There's the people in the middle who stop and go, this doesn't add up, and I have half a brain. Let me figure it out. But that group of people they're silent because they're concerned about what will happen to them. Today, I was at a football game. The chatter in the bleachers, people were speaking their minds. People were saying this, because we didn't have to wear masks, nothing like that. We don't have none of that problem, at least right now. But people were saying, I ain't wearing a mask. Other people going, this is BS. And so people were showing some courage. They weren't trying to draw too much attention, but they weren't whispering either. You know what I mean? And That's what we need, is more people showing courage. The problem is people are afraid of the backlash. If your relative tells you don't come over for Thanksgiving dinner unless you've got the shot, you need to make a decision. What do I want to do? Stand behind my principles or go to Thanksgiving dinner? If you decide you're going to get the shot just to appease them, that's your life. That's your choice. I'm not.
I'd say, see you next year.
Pretty much. But that's just it. Somebody has to take a stand and say, no, look, I respect your home. If you don't want people who haven't got the shot, if you don't want those people in your house, don't invite me.
Yeah.
I'm going to respect you by not coming. You're going to respect me by not saying do it or else. But it's not up to me to tell you to live your life that way. If you go, no, screw it. I want to see my mom, my sister, my whatever, and you go, then go get it. If you have ill health effects later, or you sit there and you go, I can't believe I did this. I actually compromised my principles and did this. That's the regret you have to live with at a later point, because they've already said you can't sue these companies if you get sick because of this unproven vaccine. Well, that right there tells me that it ain't worth taking. But that's me doing critical thinking. Some people have a job to do, and they may have their employer say, you've got to have this or else you can't work here, and they've got to make a decision. I don't know that they have a legal ability to do that, but some people don't take the time to look into it. They just go, okay. Everybody's got to make a choice, Rick.
Hey, I'm on your side on that one. We were talking down the diner, and because I said there's rumors that our Rhino governor is going to thinking about bringing the mandated masks back and shit like that. And I said, well, and stuff like that. I said, well, what's Deb here owns the restaurant going to do? Go back to doing takeout only? They said, well, she might, because people come and I said, damn. I said, I said we should defy it. Don't do it. And they go, well, she could lose her license to to operate. I said, so they take her license away from her. All she's got to do is rent her dishes out. She's not breaking any rules. She ain't selling food. She's renting her dishes. What's wrong with that? But I mean, that's how I think, but maybe I'm stupid.
I've known, trying to do a number in my head here, count, I believe 14 people that have had COVID. Some of them just recently. And I believe more than half of them gotten the shot prior to it as well. So just a little fact. I don't know if it means anything, but and most of these people say they're told they have COVID. They don't know any difference. They're just sick. They don't see it as anything.
And I mean,
a nurse, or not a nurse. She was a nurse. Now she's something higher. I can't think of what it is. She just finished school again. But it's her son, 2 sons, and everybody. But she's, it seems like her opinion of it's changed now that she's had it. So basically, it's just something to point out there. For whatever it's worth to people.
Yeah, but I personally believe that me taking hydrochloroquine is helping me. I honestly do. So anyway, go on. Squib, you want to say something?
So here's the thing. It's a strain of the flu, and some people get the flu often. I haven't had the flu since I was a teenager. I haven't had it since I was a teenager. If I had flu-like symptoms right now, whether it be from COVID or some other strain of the flu, I'd probably, those symptoms, it might make me sick as a dog, and I might go, damn, but it's been 30 some odd years since I've had the flu because I'm one healthy individual. Okay. It might make me think, wow, this is the worst flu I've ever had. Or some people, I know some people, they're sick all the time. They're also, they're kind of nasty, filthy individuals, but they're sick all the time. I don't know. I think if somebody gets sick and they get really sick from it, or they feel like they're really sick from it, I think they're going to react in a way that oh man, nobody wants this. Nobody. I mean, if you've ever had a stomach ache and it was bad and you're doubled over in pain and you're thinking about what did I eat within the past 24 hours, what did I eat? You might say, I'm never eating this again in my life because that pain is that bad. I've done that. Right. So that's why I think some people, their reaction to it is they were bedridden, they were sick, they were throwing up, they were running, it was the pain, but you survived. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of going out there going, hey, I got it and I'm still here, they're inflating the numbers. This isn't, not everybody's going to die, and those people all have underlying health conditions or what, but instead they go, oh, it's the worst thing, man. You just don't want this, man. Nobody wants to get sick. No, I don't even want to get a cold. But it happens. It does. So I don't understand that, and another thing too, you were talking about, does the Debs go back to takeout? Go into Google Maps and go look at restaurants in your area or restaurants in an area that you want to take a vacation to. And look, they'll say takeout, delivery. They'll say DoorDash or whatever. I'm actually looking at restaurants in my township that I know you can walk into without a mask, sit down and eat, and there's no limit on people and stuff like that. It says takeout. It says DoorDash. It says delivery. These places are open and have set down, no mask, no nothing, no. Look on Google Maps. They're pushing an agenda there by not saying, you can, and they might go, well, no, we're just saying that they have the option of takeout. I don't remember before COVID any of these restaurants showing takeout. You know what I mean? It was just a restaurant.
Yeah.
So they're pushing this kind of, do takeout and delivery. Don't actually go sit down at the local diner. So people are so easily influenced by that. They see it and they go, oh, well, that's what I've got to do. No, you don't. Find the businesses. During this stuff last year where they were mandating masks, I went to the grocery store without a mask and they never threw me out. I never got arrested. The Gestapo never came for me or whatever. I think if they try to do this again, it's probably going to be guidelines that you don't necessarily have to follow, or if you don't follow them, are they really going to come down on you?
Yeah. I mean, like in the chat here, coffee and guns and ammo says, I got COVID in capital letters back in December. It was not fun. But guess what, coffee, guns, and ammo? You're fucking alive. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm not saying you wouldn't have died, but I mean, yeah, hundreds of thousands of people are getting COVID, but they ain't dying like the mainstream media and the government wants you to believe. So, anyway, the only way...
Reality, too.
I mean,
alcohol, car crashes. There's a lot of things that take out more people than COVID, but we're not shutting the country down.
During COVID, I was hit by a drunk driver driving home from work. I'm more likely to get in a car accident than I am to go to the hospital for COVID-19. That I've already proven is a fact in my life. 5 weeks of back pain, and I'm okay. But I took responsibility. I wore a seatbelt. I had good car insurance. I took that responsibility. If you want to wear a mask, if you want to put hand sanitizer on everything, if you don't want to go to a place that has a lot of people, if you don't want to do this, then you don't do that. You do you. But don't tell me I can't. And if I'm a business owner paying taxes and paying permits and licenses and stuff like that, don't tell me that I can't have people in my business or I can't be open so many hours a day. I didn't agree with it when Michigan passed a law that said that there's no smoking allowed in any building in Michigan. They gave casinos a pass. Casinos, you can smoke in a casino. If you own a bar and you want to allow your patrons to smoke, have them smoke. If you own a bar and you want to say this is a non-smoking bar and try to get those patrons, you do you. I never agree, and I don't smoke. But I think if the person wants to allow smoking in their building and they're paying taxes, they're paying for a business license, damn it, they can have that. I never agreed with that restriction on a business owner's freedom.
I don't get to. Anyway, Echo's put his hand up. He wants to talk. He jumped in the room, by the way.
Howdy, everyone. I just wanted to. Is the audio okay, Rick?
No, yeah, fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I just wanted to bring a couple of.
So it's false advertisement.
What was that?
Said there's no echo, so it's false advertisement.
I just wanted to let everyone know there's a reason why they haven't cured the common cold and flu, and there's a reason that they were able to cure measles, mumps. Measles and mumps do not spread between animals and humans. They are simply human diseases. The cold, the coronaviruses, the flu virus, they're upper respiratory infections, and they spread between animals and humans. So you can inoculate the entire population of the world. You're still not going to wipe this out because it's going to go to the animal population and breed there. And then it's going to be passed on through third world countries to people, and we're going to start this whole process over again. What they're telling us is really bullshit. A mask does not work for this type of virus because it's 0.03 the size of a micron. No mask except for a biological chemical filter mask that you would wear in like combat or what the CDC, when you see that movie Outbreak and they're in those yellow outfits with the portable oxygen bottles. That is what will keep you from getting this disease. You can inoculate for it, but what happens is it starts to mutate, just like the flu virus does every year. And we do what the scientists do is they watch the virus as it spreads, taking samples of it as it moves across the continent, and then they can tell. Well, they make their best educated guess what it's going to be when it hits the United States, and the CDC initiates that protocol for inoculation of that strand of the flu. Now, what happens is, because you have antibodies built up, if you get the flu inoculation, and say you do get the flu and it's a different strain, you will not have it as harsh. You will have, the symptoms will be lighter, and so on. You won't catch it as bad. Everyone's had the flu where they've been really, really sick and like bedridden, and they've had it where, yeah, they threw up a couple times, you had a fever and a runny nose, a cough, and it went away after a week or so. So the bottom line is, what I wanted to say was, we are not going to prevent this virus from ever being wiped out like mumps or measles.
No, I know. I
So
know.
you're saying we need to learn to live with it, more or less.
We need to learn to live with it and take, common sense, practical things. Wash your hands.
Like we do with the flu.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And eventually, from it being exposed to the human populace over decades, we will build up normal immunities to it. And just like, a kid that gets the flu the first time when you were little, you thought you were dying. Well, a lot of people do die from the flu every year, and that's what they haven't commented on. They may lose 40,000 people in a year, or 60,000 from the flu. When Obama was in office, the flu season that year, the third year he was in office, was so bad 65,000 people died in the U.S. So they don't talk about this kind of stuff, but it would make people, not get so uptight, and all these governors to relax and back off the Nazi propaganda.
But that's the problem. It's what they want to happen.
They politicized an illness.
Yeah.
Hey, Echo, here, you were talking about the suit and stuff like that, and I agree with you as well. But here's the thing. Let's just say the government gave everybody an unlimited supply of the best PPE that would work. How many people know how to use it? And even if you were trained on how to use it, how many people would use it properly every time they used it? If you don't have the right PPE and you don't use it and dispose of it properly, it's not as effective as it makes you think it is. It doesn't mean that if you don't use it properly, it doesn't have some effect. It will reduce the likelihood. But if you want to say, I don't want any chance I can get this, you've got to wear it properly. You've got to dispose of it properly. And the average person, look at what these masks are doing. Let's just say the masks work. Okay, you got a beard, you're not making a seal. Mask ain't working. You pull the mask down to eat, you pull the mask back up to cover your face. You just touch the mask, you just touch your face. You pull the mask down to rub your nose, and then you put your mask back up, right? It doesn't protect your eyes at all. The mask doesn't, it's just your mouth and your nose. How many people have you guys noticed that only wore it around their mouth and not around their nose? Well, then so even if the mask worked, which it doesn't, people have never worn it correctly, and they just take it off, put it in their pocket, throw it on their desk, throw it in their car seat or whatever, and then put it back on. This is a piece of PPE. You're supposed to remove it and dispose of it and get a new one and apply it. You're supposed to wash your hands. You're supposed to,
yep.
Yeah, there's all kinds of procedures. None of that's being done. And they're going, well, it's the same thing the doctors wear. No, it isn't. And they don't put it on the same way. And that's where critical thinking comes into play. If you know anything about that, if you don't work in an environment where you have to wear PPE, or you've been trained with it, or you're the guy who orders it or understands why you do it, why do we throw this out? Why don't we just reuse it or whatever? Then maybe you don't understand, if you're not in the medical profession and know that these guys incinerate this stuff, they literally burn it.
Yes.
Okay. Then you don't know. And you're not there questioning, going, why is this piece of cloth over my face supposed to be just as good as a surgical kind of, you know, that's what I mean. This is not hard to interpret. And then people should be going, yeah, why are we? This doesn't do shit.
And how many people are actually going to even wear it because they're inconvenienced by it? They're just not going to do it.
Yeah, I know. But I absolutely agree with you. And I think we're just preaching to the choir, even to, you know, on this. But also, the article in the local Indiana newspaper up, actually, I think it was up near the Great Lakes up there where Roll Call lives, I think, of that direction. What they were, the deers up there, they got some, and I guess they captured them, drew blood or whatever they were doing with them. Turns out some deers up there have antibodies to this COVID.
When I took the dog to the vet last year, the vet told me that he gave the dog a COVID shot. Well, I didn't ask him to do it. It was one of them ones where they come out to the car and get the dog and take the dog inside. You have no idea what they're doing. Then they come back out. They came back out 3 times to get paid. And what's interesting is I gave them, I think I gave them the credit card, and then they came back out and said, oh, it costs more. And I said, well, I'll just pay the rest in cash. So no mask, no gloves, no nothing when they come out to the car to get the dog. No mask, no gloves, no nothing when they took my credit card, when they took my cash, and when the vet came out after I had the dog to tell me everything that he did. And then he gives, because he feels that all dogs should be inoculated against COVID. Don't put your politics on me, dude. You didn't even ask. I'm done with that vet. I'm going somewhere else in the future. But interesting how the money could have COVID all over it. The credit card can have COVID all over it. The dog could have COVID all over it. The handle of the backseat of the truck could have COVID. And they're cool with that, but don't come in. Don't come in to see what we're doing, because you could be breathing COVID.
Yeah. Echo, yes. What would you like to say?
Yes. Basically, yeah, it is true what Squib's saying. It's so hilarious when you take off PPE, you're supposed to have gloves on, so that when you remove it by the straps, and it comes completely off in a certain direction, so that it never makes contact with your person as you remove it. And then the gloves get pulled off a certain way so that they don't get contact. You grab one glove to the top of the other and peel it down and roll it over the exposed surface, so that you turn them basically inside out on one glove, and then you hook the other one and do the same thing. There's protocol on how you have to wear this stuff and take it off and on. And if you don't do that correctly, you're just wasting your time and money, with the people supplying it. And what I was surprised was there, all this push for PPE and no instruction on videos by any media organization on how to wear it, how it should be taken off, how it should be disposed of. Absolutely nothing. They just told us to cut up some old t-shirts and underwear and make masks out of them.
Yeah, I know. It's a goddamn joke. Anyway, I'm going to wind this up because the cats are getting hungry and I'm getting hungry. So what else was I going to say? Something to do with my cats. I can't remember what it was now. Oh yeah, back to something that Squib said about when he was going on about certain people. I was thinking when he said about the flat Earth people. This got to do with the cats. I'm getting to it. There's no flat Earth, because if there was, the cats would have knocked everything off the edge by now. You think about it. You get them on a table.
Trust the science. That is brilliant, Rick.
So, anyway, New York Outcast, you got any plugs or shout-outs?
Just obviously, if you're Cape Bowling. Check out that Rod of Iron Festival. Share there's going to be, I plan on being there. So some people show up that might be in this smaller community, I guess you could say. So it could also be a meet and greet in a sense. So something to keep in mind. And let's see, besides that, I'd like to say thank you to Guns and Barbecue for sending me another package, which wasn't marked, but I was able to figure out it was from him. So appreciate that. Other than that, thanks for having me. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right. Thank you. Jason.
Thanks for the invite. Good to see everybody. Just enjoying the day. Hope you guys are too.
Yeah. And I hope you go out and shoot that 1911.
Oh, I hope so too, because I got my tripod so I can use my chronograph.
Okay. You reloading 45 ACP?
Yep. I got some loaded up to try to run a string test or something, and I got a pistol vise or a brace, so I'm gonna see what kind of load I can work up on them.
Yeah, well, don't forget, if you get raided, you're going to be down as a domestic terrorist because you've got reloading equipment.
I think I can find more charges than reloading equipment.
Well, I mean, that's because I was reading an article when they said, one of those people who, when they raided his house, he had 1,000 rounds of ammo and reloading equipment. So I'm afraid they're going to be. I got more than 1,000 rounds. I'm not saying how many I got, but I got more than 1,000 rounds, and I've got reloading equipment. So I'm definitely on their list, I guess. Anyway, Squib, you got anything?
Nah, thanks for letting me run my mouth.
Well, I appreciate it. You always say some good stuff. Echo, I know you're late, but you got any shout-outs?
Yeah. I just wanted to thank you for letting us all on here to participate in your show. And I'm doing a thing at the beginning of all of my shows where I am picking a mom and pop gun shop in my area. And I'm starting to do, this show is brought to you by the particular gun shop. And I'm doing free advertising for them to help bring awareness to that they're there. And if people in my area, possibly new gun owners, are looking for a spot to go to, range, what have you, I'm going to start doing that. And I'm also going to start interviewing shop owners and getting their 2 cents on what's going on in their life with the new administration and the worry of the new ATF stuff and all of that. So I'm going to be starting that here in about a week.
That's good. Also, just to I know you're doing it in your local area, but here's something you might want to check when you're doing this. For people not in the local area, some local stores do online sales.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe somebody wants to buy something from them and they'll ship it to us,
Yeah.
Just an idea.
Yeah, all right. That's a very good idea. Yeah, to check to see if they do internet sales as well.
Yeah. All right. I think I got everybody. So, yeah, I have. So I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for sticking by on this Saturday afternoon. I really do appreciate it. And we'll be back on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, the only time zone that matters. So I want to say thanks again to everybody for being here. I really appreciate it. So good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Have a good one.
Rob, lives matter.
See you, Sabrina.
Rob, demand action.
All right.